I can move a bottle of hairspray. So obviously I'm not moving anything. Like that's not what I was not designed to be a mover.
When I was in my 30s, I moved in Tampa in August. I remember wearing a white T-shirt. I'm not joking. It was late August in Tampa, Florida. I moved out of an apartment, and I remember somebody said, what I had on, somebody said, dude, you're going to lighten it. So I took a thin white T-shirt, up down the stairs with a brown sofa, soaked 5 minutes in.
Of course.
So it was and since that moment, I have never considered moving anything.
No. And I've had some very kind friends offer to help, like reluctantly. Like you when someone says they're moving, like you feel like if depending on how close you are, you're like, oh, like do you need help? Which I don't do, because I'm not going to be. What am I going to help you with? How can I help you? Hire movers.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a question.
Speaking of Sam Darnold, Peter King speculated the Denver Broncos are interested in trading for him. Here's the thing. Nobody remembers Drew Brees in San Diego. Nobody remembers David Ortiz with the Twins or Max Scherzer in Arizona. Nobody remembers Nick Saban at Michigan State. Nobody remembers Michael Jordan's first 3 years, no playoff wins. Nobody remembers Steve Young in Tampa. Nobody remembers Bill O'Reilly at ABC News. Your first couple of years go sideways. You land in a good spot. You're good. The bottom line is Aaron Rodgers, at this point in his career, hadn't started a game. And he's a legend. If Darnold goes to San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan made Matt Schaub a Pro Bowler, Matt Ryan an MVP. What else did he do? RG3 Rookie of the Year over Andrew Luck. That's good resume. If he makes Sam Darnold in a run-centric power offense that they've already got George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, they can run the football, good O-line, you're not going to remember the Jets thing. He's 23. He could have 12 years left if he got the right team. Here's the thing with him. When Andrew Luck struggled, one of the reasons I defend him, he didn't have anything. He didn't have the right GM, the coach, the O-line, the weapons, anything. Either did Darnold. O-line, bottom 5 entire time. Running back, never had one. Le'Veon Bell didn't deliver. Wide receivers, bottom 5. He didn't have anything. It'd be one thing if he had a good O-line and you're like, listen, he had a good O-line. Like Dak had a great O-line and Zeke. And some guys get everything. Patrick Mahomes, year 2, he got everything. That's not generally the way it works. But you got to have something. Sam Darnold, you got to give him something. He had nothing. Andrew Luck had nothing. So, even Trevor Lawrence this year with the Jags. Urban Meyer's pretty smart. They got a couple of really nice skill people. The O-line is not terrible. Defense is awful. But Trevor's not walking into a situation they have nothing. They got a couple of nice skill people. The O-line's not miles away. It's not a bottom 5 O-line. And they got a ton of cap space. Darnold came in, they had no cap space. And they were terrible. And the coach and the GM, so I think he can work. It's Jersey Mike's Month of Giving, raising money for over 200 charities across America. You can help by visiting a store. To learn more, visit a store or go to jerseymikes.com. jerseymikes.com. Jersey Mike's, be a sub above. The high-low game, fraught with peril. Next, it's The Herd. Here we go, hour 2. Live in L.A., it's The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, FS1. The Herd brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. Joy Taylor's moving this week. I'm moving Monday. Hey, we're still showing up for work. We hired movers.
If you have a big full-time job and you can afford it, it's nicer to hire movers than ask your friends to do it.
Yeah, in your 20s, ask your friends.
Oh, yeah, I would just throw all my stuff in garbage bags. I wouldn't even get boxes.
Oh, I've done that. That's how you do it.
So much easier and cheaper.
So this game we play, it's called the high-low game. I take first-round quarterbacks who are perceived to be going, and I give them a high end. If things go well, here's who they are at their best. And if things don't go well, here's who they are at their worst. Now, we all know, this is factual, that where you land matters. That's not disputable. Josh Allen would not be this good if he had a crappy coaching staff. But Sean McDermott's great. Brian Daboll's a great OC. They got him Stephon Diggs. It matters. We all know that. That is not up for dispute. So I'm considering a lot of different things here, where they're drafted, everything. Stylistically, it may not always. I can always, you can't find the perfect fit. Right, but here we go. Let's play the high-low game. Let's start with Trevor Lawrence high-low game. The high for Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson is Troy Aikman. Looks the part, arm, accurate. Nobody disputes the talent. Day one, walks in, and you're like, that's what a franchise quarterback looks like. Bumpy for the first couple years until he's surrounded with legitimate talent. But in about year 3, you're like, we got ourselves a Hall of Fame talent. The low end, Andrew Luck. Size, mobility, called an all-time talent, but the franchise holds him back. He gets beat up with a bad O-line for a couple of years, and you're like, you know what? You don't blame him. He doesn't take the hit, but he could just never get maybe the GM, the line, the support right. High-end, low-end, Trevor Lawrence is Troy Aikman's career, or Andrew Luck at worst. That's pretty good. Zach Wilson, BYU. All right. The high end is Matt Stafford. Lively arm. Nobody disputes his talent. People talk about his talent. 10 years in the league. But he can't save a bad franchise. He's got a good YouTube. You look up YouTube, he's got all sorts of plays. And he's slick. Got his own kind of style. But he can't save like the Jets at number 2. Low end's Baker Mayfield. Fun to watch. Ceiling's a little lower than we thought. Maybe a bit of a reach as a number 2 draft pick. Certainly watchable. Even when he struggled, fun to watch. Got a flair to him. Zach's got a flair. The high end, though, if he goes to the Jets, feels like he can't overcome their nonsense. How about Justin Fields? Ohio State. The high end to me is Deshaun Watson. Dude is a playmaker. Arm, feet, he's a playmaker. You can win any game with Justin Fields. It doesn't have the smoothest delivery. It's not the prettiest football, but high school star, college star, and you're not surprised if the franchise is bad, he can carry him to the playoffs. Teammates love him. Total difference maker at quarterback. The low end is Sam Darnold. Super talented, inconsistent. Sometimes you're like, God, I love him. And then the next series, you're like, man, he's missing wide open receivers. And you think to yourself, that's crazy. But I watched Justin Fields this year against Clemson. I was like, whoa. And then I watched them against Northwestern. I was like, oh. Yeah, I didn't know week to week quite what I was getting. But the high side and the low side, you're talking about a dynamic athlete. Trey Lance, North Dakota State. I think high-low. High is Josh Allen. Total wow factor physically. Like, whoa. A small school. So you're questioning, is he just better than all these average players? A bit of a project. You're not going to have him walk into this league and light everybody up. Could become very dependent on where he lands. May struggle a little early. But in year 3, if he's got the right people, you're going to say to yourself, why didn't we like him more? Why wasn't he the number 1 pick? Big upside. The low side is Blake Bortles. He kind of looks the part. And there's some athletic ability here. He wins some games. But you're like, he kind of plateaus. And you just kept waiting for Blake to get to the next level. And he just never got to the next level. But there's something there. They're athletically, you're not going to dispute that. Blake could move around and make plays, so could Josh. And then Mac Jones, Alabama. The high side is Kirk Cousins. Delivers the ball, not real athletic, does not look like the future of the quarterback position. But coachable, surround him with premier players, he can get him the football. You don't feel like in the big games against the best quarterbacks, you kind of feel like you have the second best guy at that position. Low side is Matt Barkley, USC. Big school, great teammates, really well liked. Pretty low ceiling. Can't do anything with his feet. Strictly a pocket guy. Overdrafted. Stays in the league forever because coachable, good in the film room, nice guy. But you just kind of feel like, yeah, it's the talent around him that kind of did a lot of the work. That's my high-low game. We're 50 days, by the way, until the draft. I've missed big time on that, and then I've hit big time on that. That is, I have either been Elon Musk or Clown Show on that segment. And